This holiday season, as the world celebrates in so many ways, some families are facing it apart, feeling the weight of loneliness. At a miracle of a community that cares, we are creating a space where everyone, regardless of faith or background, can share in the joy of this wonderful season. Join Santa and leaders from all walks of life for stories, special shout outs, and heartfelt messages from loved ones near and far. Children are taking the lead with art and fun, helping us bring the gift of books to children everywhere. Children in hospitals, children to families of all faiths, and to fortify traditions of families. This season, let's come together as a global community, one that cares, one that gives, and one that embraces all cultures, part of the miracle. Join us from December 24th to December 26th, and let's make this season unforgettable for everyone. Whoever said ignorance is bliss never ran a business. Did you know the vast majority of businesses don't make their products accessible to people with disabilities? And did you know that the collective buying power of people with disabilities is over $2 trillion? And if you're a business owner, you need to know how to make your business accessible so you're not leaving this money on the table. I want to tell you about my family partners at Real Life Access, who can help you connect with this underserved market. Real Life Access clients experience three amazing things. First, a reputation for accessibility that brings customers to your door. Second, a freedom of worry about legal consequences from not being ADA compliant. And third, increased revenue. Real Life Access team members offer common sense accessibility solutions which won't break your budget. These are business people who understand the challenges faced by all small businesses. They are also people with disabilities who know what it takes to be accessible. Check out their courses, coaching packages, and so much more at reallifeaccess.com. You'll be glad you did.
Community Pay It Forward is excited to bring you a one-time year-end offer. Sign up for a gold or platinum giving or sponsorship package before December 31st, and we'll give you 2026 free of charge. That's a whole extra year of community support, visibility, and impact. Help your business grow while making a difference. With our exclusive packages, you're not just a sponsor, you're a partner in creating change. Offer ends December 31st, 2024. Reach out today and lock in your gold or platinum package before this offer ends. Let's make 2025 and 2026 years to remember. Because no one needs to go it alone when we all come together.
Born into a real fight wasn't right. Where can she dream here? Took a hold of her.
Kind of a scary show for a little bit. You know, we couldn't get hooked up with Les, but thank God we got him all connected now. We got the internet issue fixed. Hey, everybody, my name is Zach Clayton. Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the pACT channels. I want to real quick before we bring our guests on, I want to rehash that last ad that you just saw. For the rest of this year, if you sign up with us, you're going to get all of, in a gold or platinum partnership, you're going to get all of 2026 at no charge. And we're doing this because starting in it looks like it's going to be either the end of February, beginning of March. We're going to have a brand new app coming out, and it's going to change the way that we're doing things. I know we talk to the app development team every day or every Thursday, and they just keep amazing me all the time. Wonderful, wonderful students from Arizona State University. Kids are they're doing a great job. I mean, they got me all excited every time I get to look at it. Yeah, I do. I about lose my mind. It is so fantastic. But we have a very busy show tonight, and we are glad to bring you the November Les Simpson show. Les, you're on the screen, my friend. Thank God for that. Uh oh. Oh, huh. Can you try to unmute yourself and see? There you go. Do we
Can you
got
hear
you?
now?
Yeah.
Ah.
Small miracles, small miracles.
Really?
How you doing, my friend?
Good, good. The very excited about what's the different things that are happening right now. And but I know JW now is black. Oh, there he is.
Yep,
Okay,
yep, yep. He's in with us. I think he just had to run off somewhere and grab something, but
I got
you
you.
know, yep. I think what we're going to do, because we're going to have to lose Mr. Holmes here in about 20 minutes due to another meeting he has. So we're going to go on ahead and bring them on right now. But our first guest, you introduced us to him last month. Amazing individual. I loved listening to the program and what he does. It's Mr. JW Wilson. And also joining us is a really, really good friend of mine, great guy, veteran. Just I love what he calls himself, the human search engine. I just love that nickname. So, but I'm proud to introduce everyone to Mr. Alan Holmes. So, hey guys, how is everybody doing tonight?
Doing great.
That's
JW, you're muted. Muted.
Yeah, and Alan, you're muted as well.
You're muted.
So, okay,
Let me
Alan.
unmute myself. Can you hear me now?
Yep, we got you, Alan, and no, you're still muted, J Dub. Here, let's see if when I do this, if it helps. Oh, there you go. Well, we had you for a second.
No, you're muted, JW. Still muted.
Speaker J.
This has been fun tonight. No,
Boy, there we
There
go.
we
There
go.
we go.
You'd
There
had
we go.
I
There we
needed the
there
go.
boss
we
to unmute
go.
me. Sorry, I couldn't do it. Can you guys hear me now?
We
Yeah,
got you now. We got you now. So,
Can you guys hear me?
yes.
yes. Yep, we got you.
But
All
I
right.
can't hear you. Great.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
What is going on now?
that's not good. Hopefully,
Anyway, so I don't know. You know what? I think I'm going to have to get off and come back in because I
yep,
can't hear anybody.
Good idea.
Okay?
yep.
I'll go back.
Okay. Yeah, we'll let him try that, and
Okay.
we'll get him back in here in just a second. So, Alan, you are our guest tonight. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're doing at the Master Networking, what your vision is, and what you're doing to make a difference.
Okay, let's see. Oh,
Now I can hear you.
You got us, all right. But now your camera's back off.
Oh,
There he
shit.
is.
Now I
There he
got to
is.
find out
You
where the
got
hell you are. Hold on. I'm way off somewhere else. I'm in Neverland here. Hold on. There we go.
All
there,
right, all
the
right.
full
We got
body.
you on. So. Yeah, Alan, do us a favor and give us a quick introduction on who you are and tell us a little bit about you so everybody can get to know who you are.
Can he hear?
not a problem. Nice to meet you, gentlemen. Thank you. you so much, Zach. For, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
we can.
No. Can you hear me?
Yep.
No.
We
He can't hear
Okay.
us.
All right. All right. Yeah. Thank you. I am. Yeah, I'm a master connector. I specialize in connecting business owners, whether they work at home or they are entrepreneurs like book writers, filmmakers, etc., or the everyday consumer. So I, like Zach says, I call myself a human search engine. I'm a proud U.S. Army 13 Bravo, so I take care of. I love veterans. It's an honor to be here, and I spend most of my time collaborating and networking, along with taking care of my amazing wife who has mental illness. So, eradicating poverty, ending mental health stigma, and educating on financial literacy as we change the world together is what I love doing best. Thank you so much
oh,
for allowing me to be a part of your panel tonight.
holy
Hey,
moly!
you know
Eh,
what, man? We love as soon as we started doing this, as soon as Les asked me to try to find some people so JW could look at your website, I wanted to get you on because, you know, of the important work that you do. And again, I know that we have only got a little bit of time, but Les, before we get started, did you have any questions for Alan?
No. Do we have his website that we can look at?
Yes, it's the Master Connectors website,
Okay.
JW. Did you
Oh, I
guys
got it.
want me to share it on my screen?
I've got it. I'm on
All
it.
right, perfect.
Do you want him to share it,
Oh, you can
JW?
share it here. It's fine. I'm looking at it. I'm on my phone and my computer. I'm looking at it on my computer now.
Okay.
Okay.
I
But
already
that
have it
way
up.
we can see what you're talking about.
Well, I'm not going to talk about this. I wasn't going to talk about the website.
Oh, that's what we were talking about is to make his website
Yeah,
more.
but I don't need the. I can do it talking. I'll
Okay.
go big picture. We've got a lot of problems here. We need to talk about big picture what we're doing first, I think.
Okay.
Okay. And so, if I could ask Alan, so what is your secret sauce, Alan, that you use? Or do you have a special thing that you do, um, um, Alan?
Uh, well, no, that's a great question. You said Lee, right? Is that, I want to make sure I'm looking at the
Well,
is
Alan,
that
I
Lee?
got
Oh,
on your
no,
screen.
JW. I'm talking.
Yeah, it's
Sorry, sorry.
JW. And
Well,
hard.
yeah,
I'm moving.
my secret sauce is basically
Is what?
What's your secret sauce, Alan?
okay. Can you?
Yes, we got you.
Oh yeah, my secret sauce is basically simple. Is I love to personalize my experience when I'm talking to someone. I just simply want to learn how I can be of service to them, and I think of me like a human a concierge at a hotel, high end hotel. That if you're looking for the best restaurant or the best car rental or the best place to spend time with your family, that's what I love doing. Get to know the person. Sometimes it's about business, and other times it's about checking. Too many times in our society we forget to connect with the human being and the person behind the brand,
It's
and that's
true. That's
why I
true.
love doing what I do, because I always tell people I market in reverse. People say, "What do you mean by that?" Well, I do that by when I meet someone like I'm a brother from another, I call him Mr. Zach Clayton, and now to meet you, JW and Lee, it is honor and privilege to just get to collaborate and get to know the person and the brand, and then the rest of it'll take care of itself by realizing that with everything that's going on, we have to make sure everybody's okay. First of all, family, and as my platoon sergeant told me in the military, always never leave a person behind. Make sure the children are our future,
So let me
and
quick,
their
Alan.
resources and technology and everything else will fall into place. So
Great.
I end by you again.
Yeah, so, Alan, if I could ask you a question. So, how many clients do you have?
He just dropped offline, but here he comes again. Here we go again. So, Alan, the question was, how many clients are you currently working with? Oh,
Boy, technology
this
today.
is going to be
Wow.
a fun one tonight, ain't it, boys?
Shit, I love this.
So, yeah,
That's okay.
you know, the thing about Alan is he is out there, and he's experienced everything from homelessness to
Yeah. I can
injury.
feel something's going on with this guy
Yeah,
a lot. Yeah.
and he's out there on a very restricted budget, but he's out there trying to do good for people. So, and the best way to do that is he's just a genuine guy. He loves meeting people. He loves talking to people.
There he
Uh,
is.
he is just a really, really good guy. We've got Alan Holmes back. Alan, the question is, how many clients are you dealing with right now?
Can you hear us?
He looks frozen.
To be completely transparent, I'm rebuilding. Can you hear me?
We can
Yes.
Can you
hear
hear
you
me?
now, buddy.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can
Yep.
hear you.
Oh, can you?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, yeah, to be completely transparent, I have about 2,600 on LinkedIn, but I am still learning as I go, so that I don't.
So basically, are you
I just
getting?
have
Is
access
anybody
to
is anybody paying you now, Alan?
several platforms. One with a gentleman who has 37 million. That my client take 1%.
So how many money making
Yeah, my
client?
affiliate offers. My affiliate offers, they pay as you go. But I am working the agreement, so it's almost like a relaunch and a rebeta of what I do.
I got. So you're not really making a lot of money now. You're in the position where you want to do that and you want to set it up. Is that right? Somebody help me here. Is that right,
Yeah,
Alan?
yeah, he's on a little bit of a
Correct.
delay. So
Yes,
he
sir.
did answer correct, but
Yes,
he's
sir.
on a
Okay.
little bit of a delay.
Okay. So basically, he's in kind of the startup stage, and he's somebody that we can use to help us when we figure out what we want to do with everybody. Is that
Very
right?
much so.
Okay. Great. Okay. So we can go ahead. I got the lay of that land. Thank you.
Yeah.
Whoops. Several my light has decided to go crazy here. I don't know what that's all
Well,
about.
if it's not internet, it's going to be electricity. You know,
What the
we're
hell
going to
was
run the
that?
gamut today, folks.
What
So
the hell was that? I have
Are
no
you
idea.
sure we're not on Halloween?
yeah, I guess.
Oh shit. Yeah,
The
sorry,
goblins are
guys.
out tonight.
Boy, they are. So,
Oh god.
but
All right. So maybe we should start this way. What do we want to accomplish on this call?
I would like to see what suggestions, JW, would you have for Alan just perusing, just looking over, using your program and not giving away the farm. I'm not asking you to give away the farm here, but looking over and just, just at a glimpse, tell Alan what he can do to better reach the people that he's looking to reach by just perusing his website, if you don't mind.
Yeah, well, let's start about. So I've probably developed over 25 startups, and we positioned every one of them as number one in their fields. And this is in medical, training, travel, just all sorts of different ones. And what we've done, the way we branded ourselves is we've positioned what we do here as the world leader in understanding the neuroscience of what you need to do to turn on people's brain structures so you do what you want them to do. I don't know if you know this, I'll give you a little background. Does anybody know of all the websites are up, what percentage are of, let's say you've got 100 websites up. Do you know what percentage are not making money?
I do not know. I wouldn't have a clue on that.
Anybody want to guess other than less?
So I guess I would leave it up to you, Alan.
You want to guess, Alan?
I would say maybe 30,
Uh,
35%.
40 to 60%.
Okay, it's 90%.
90% is not making money.
Yep, look it up. And you know why?
Uh, wrong targeting strategy.
They're
Strategy.
all doing what the other guy is doing. So it all
Okay,
looks the same and people they can't pay attention. It everybody looks the freaking same.
I can
So what the
understand that.
yeah, and so we've reversed engineered what has to happen in people's brains before they push the buy button. And then because we reversed engineer, what we found is meaning drives all movement. In other words, you guys were both in the military. It's very meaningful to you, right? So something comes up about the military and your
Yeah.
brain goes over there whether you want it to or not. You don't have a choice. When you can understand that activation in your target audience, you can get them to move and they're not even aware they're moving. And this is how we've made all these businesses number one. But the trick is that really it's a trick, but it isn't a trick. But the key is that you have to be how do I say this? Increasing the value of that individual's life to make it work right. And you have to come from what you guys are in the service, a place of service. And we found that when we can take the neurobiology of the learning code, we can we can attach it to a brand. That brand will their checkout rates and their time on page and everything that we do can increase anywhere from 20 to 1,000%, only because we're accessing their neurobiology. And so that's what we do. And we're working with other companies to help them or organizations like you guys. How do we get more people to, more veterans to be healed by guys like you or supported with guys like you? So basically, and how you could support us. So basically, what we're here about is we're about transforming the world by changing the way the world learns and changes behaviors. The way we're learning now, think of all that stuff you memorized in school. Do you guys know how much you remember of it right now? Everything you memorized. Do you know what percent you remember now?
Oh, I remember we talked about this last time, and it might be 10% of what I learned in school. Everything, uh,
2%.
yeah,
2%.
everything that, wow, you're celebrating. What the hell
I
just
don't know.
happened there?
I don't know where that.
That, did you just win Jeopardy or what was
I have
that?
no idea what's going on, guys. My lights are
So,
going off, balloons are coming. This is great.
so, Alan, I want to ask you a question real quick, Alan, and maybe this can help out JW and Les. Okay, tell me one thing that you, the master
Yes.
connector, want to do that is so much further and better than everyone else in the connecting world. What is the one thing that you bring to the table that you want to utilize to make a difference for people?
Good question.
Well, I would like to, and as JW says, I would like to bring honor and humility back to solving an individual's problem, meaning that it may not be something that they purchase from me, for example. But if we have a conversation and start that conversation, and it ends up saying that, you know what, wait a minute, based on what you said, Alan, I am not ready to do business with you right now. But I may want to speak to JW because you triggered something in me that said that he can solve my problem or my challenge, and then we can circle back. Because one of the biggest challenges I always tell people don't wake up in the morning and think of Alan Holmes. They think of how do I get through this thing called life? And sometimes it's just getting out of the bed in the morning to be able to understand what's on the other side. They may have lost a loved one, or they may have
Right.
lost a job, and now they're trying to find. So, in short, meet individuals where they are and be able to solve a problem and watch what happens. It could be a small child, it could be a pastor, it could be a veteran who's being transitioned, or somebody with a disabled who, like, for example, I met yesterday, this gentleman had a general anxiety disorder. However, he is in the process of building the largest nonprofit personal development as well as schools, churches for global humanitarian efforts and being positive. So I never know who I'm going to meet. I know that's kind of a long answer, but I would love to be able to find that one spark to take to the next level to see wherever the world will take us, as long as it's in a positive light.
I think it's
So,
wonderful. I think that's a wonderful answer, JW.
yeah. So, what we need to do is we need to take that answer and turn it into a brand that people are attracted to. See, right now you've got an idea that you're trying to get out to the world with you as the spokesperson. What we really need to do is figure out what is the transformation that we are trying or going to create. And then how do we package that so we have everybody buy it? It's really kind of simple. So where you're working, especially in the military and people that are retired military, we can reverse engineer their brain structure, honor, duty, mission, all that stuff. We can repackage everything that's already in their brain structures, attach it to your brand so they can't disengage. So the problem is, we don't at the Learning Code. We don't believe in we
Mm,
don't believe we don't believe in selling. And do you know why?
Uh,
no.
you, it's hard to buy from yourself is one thing, and there we go again. The
I got
okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, it's I would go so far as to say that you know what, it's hard to buy yourself. You have to know yourself.
That's good, true too. But here's the other thing: the minute you know somebody is selling you, you do this with your
Yep.
biology.
Yep.
So we don't believe in selling at the Learning Code Institute. We believe in activating what's most meaningful in people and having them see we can get them more of it. That's
Yeah.
all we do.
You
Then they
know,
don't have a choice.
Yeah, I agree.
Then they're doing the directing. We're not doing the directing. And this is how we've made all these businesses number one in their field. We're not into selling. We're into helping people get more of what they want and seeing us as the market leader that can get them that.
wow.
And
I
so
I
what we could redo,
Wow.
I'm going to riff here. What we could do is reverse engineer the brain plan of the kind of the, and I don't know what happens to this thing now. We see the top of my head; it's just jumping all over the place. But anyway, um, the bottom line. So sorry, you may not see me because I can't get my arm far enough away with it. My room's too long for my cord, so I'll work on that in a second. But anyway, what happens is the great thing about the military is we know where they've been. We know pretty much where they've experienced. We understand the hierarchical system. We know a lot about what's going on in their brains. We can reverse engineer that, take it and use it to what's already meaningful to them and attach it to our brand to get them to move faster, either to buy or take action. So what I'm thinking is, you know, and I really appreciate what you guys are doing. Now, you guys are going to punch me in the nose, but I grew up in the time of Vietnam and
yeah.
I went to military school and I was getting ready to go to Vietnam in 1972 and everybody was getting on the plane and coming back because the war was over. I didn't know what to do. I was so set on going to Vietnam, I was lost. So you know what I ended up doing? I joined the Peace Corps.
Hey,
And you know why?
everybody's got a path.
Mhm.
Hey guys, Alan unfortunately has to jump. He's got another meeting to go to.
Okay.
Alan, I hope that we can continue this conversation next time though. I think that we're going to make some inroads that are going to help you out. I'll make sure that I send an email to an introduction email so you guys can contact Alan and have a further conversation with him. And maybe when you guys are talking, there won't be all the boogaboos with the internet.
Yeah, it's
I don't
good.
know. So, but Alan, I want to thank you so very much
Well,
for
no,
joining us.
Zach, I just want to say thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
now if you could go look at the
Oh,
website,
absolutely. It is
just
honor and privilege.
yeah, Alan, just check the website out before we
Okay.
talk next, if you would, okay? Then you'll get it.
And I'll send you all that information,
thelearningcode.com.
Alan. But again,
Absolutely.
yep. But
I
thank
will. And it's been an honor to meet both of you. And thank you, Zach, for doing what you're doing and changing the world, sir.
all right. Well, thank you, sir. You have a good meeting, and I'll talk to you tomorrow, probably. So, but thank you very much. That was Alan Holmes, the master connector. I want to thank him very much for working with us. JW, I'm sorry to cut you off there.
That's
I
all right.
had to let him go. I knew that he had to run. But if you want to, hey, that's a nice adding
I'm
machine you
trying.
had there.
I'm trying to get this freaking phone. I got to take it like 9 miles away from me. Oh shit. Anyway, there we go.
So, all right.
I'm
So,
half balanced. So
hey, yeah, you know what? I've got a head injury, so you look fine to me. So we'll just go with that. But, yeah, one of the things that you said, and we brought this up last month when we talked, and I got rid of the word fundraising out of my name, because as soon as you say fundraising, people put both hands on their wallets. They're like, "Oh, nope, nope."
That's
And
exactly right.
my company has nothing to do with taking money from people. But you say the word fundraising, and instantly that's where the mind goes. So, yeah, when you say sales, immediately that's where that mind goes. You're muted now.
Yeah, you're muted, JW.
Wow, it doesn't say he's muted. I don't know what happened there. Maybe you're going to need to go out and come back in again. I think it took the speaker off when it blacked out on us. So hopefully this will work again. Les, what did you hear in that little conversation? Because in that 10-minute conversation, I heard a lot.
Okay, well, why don't you tell me?
Look, I I think, well, first off, I know Alan. I know his mission. I know what his mission is. And with his ambition and with what he wants to do, and if he takes and he looks at the end result and we walk backwards from that, I think we're going to look at a quicker result, right?
Right. Well, one of the things that JW mentioned, and we're going to mention here, is like, for instance, if he has all those contacts he's talking about, then we're going to allow people to represent the cracking the sales code. And it won't cost him anything if he contacts this, and yourself also, if you contact like for instance, a real estate company, and you introduce this to them, and then we're going to pay you monthly for all the employees that sign up. And so that's one of the things JW mentioned as far as helping him. But the whole concept is having something that people see valuable immediately. And that's one of the things JW was trying to put across is he knows all these veterans and is just honor, and persistence and so forth that the military uses. It's just connecting with that part of them. And then what we called is connecting values to values. And when that happens, it's like JW says, this happens. And they just can't pull apart because now you're part of them. And that's one of the things and that's one of the things here at the end we plan on doing is any of the people on here, if you know a membership group, or if you know, like for instance, real estate that has 15 agents, we're going to be offering 20%. We're going to start off at $20 a month, so it's very affordable for everybody. And you get 20%, so $4. So if you get 30 people, that's $130 or $120, and then it can grow from there. But anybody that is struggling, we now have a vehicle, and again, if you introduce this, we'll do the education. So that's one of the things that I want to mention to all your followers
All
is
right.
you now have a vehicle to go out there and start with, plus the world famous Learning Code Institute.
All right. We have JW back and we can hear him. I can hear the clucking on his phone. So I almost said clucking, but
There's
it's
some
clicking.
static going on here. Do you guys hear that?
Yeah.
Your voice is all messed up,
Yeah, all right.
JW.
But here's my problem, guys. You were hearing the static because I've got my phone plugged in because it's about ready to go dead. So anyway,
Oh, okay.
forget the static. My headset will work.
So I'll use that. If we cut off,
Yeah,
we'll just
that
come
works.
back and do it again.
All
That
right.
works.
Okay.
Yep. That sounds good. So, um, All right, JW. The one thing that I said and Les agreed with is, look, I love what his vision is, and so what you're telling us is that if we look at the end goal, if we look at what his end goal is, and we walk that backwards, it's easier to achieve success with this.
Yeah, in other words, you need to know, without knowing where you're going, there's no way to build the roadmap to get there.
Right, right.
And and so here's the biggest problem. What people do is they talk about how much money they're going to make. Our research shows people aren't interested in money, they're interested in what the money can get them. It's really fascinating. It's not the money, it's the peace, the fulfillment, the joy, the happiness that the money can get them. And so, really, when you understand what we call meaningful marketing, what's driving people meaningfully, and then you can help them get more of it, oh my God, they won't leave you alone. And so, where you are, you're in the military space, maybe you want other partners, maybe you want to do it yourself, but we could put together something that is the world's leading program to help people in the military after they get out. And it's
Yeah.
and it's not about learning. These guys are all taking courses on welding or whatever they're doing or trying to be in marketing. And the problem is, unless they understand what their brain plan is and understand what their brain plan needs, we just do what the school system told us to do, which makes us all miserable. So what we can do is we can take somebody like the fellow that was just on the phone there. I mean, I could tell right away that he's a little, you work with him, Zach. You could tell he's like this, right? Because he doesn't know where he's going. He doesn't know how to get there. And he doesn't have a day-to-day operational plan to know how to do that. And that's what we gave people in the military. And so we kind of got to do the same thing. And especially since you've got people in the military, we know what their brain plan is. We know where they spend at least 2 years and maybe a heck of a lot more. We know a lot about their brain plan that we could spend some time reverse engineering and get our marketing message to activate that so they take action and buy a lot more from us.
Yeah, yeah. That's fantastic. I know that there's with people in the military, one of the biggest problems that they have when they get out of the military is there's no longer that structure there. Does this
It's
have a lot
awful.
to do? Yeah, does this have a lot to do with maybe some of the disconnect between their brain and their actions?
Well, what the disconnect, so what happened was when they were in the military, they had the structure. If they went out of the structure, they ended up in the frickin' brig, right? So
Yep, yep.
they didn't have a choice. But so what happened was forced them to do certain things within a certain sphere. In other words, if you go outside of the sphere, you get slapped, right? So that's a punishment strategy. What we're talking about is a little different. We're talking, and you can keep people on track with the reward and punishment. They may not be happy, but you can make them do all sorts of shit. If I gave you $1 million, you eat a bucket of worms, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh, yeah.
would. I would too.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, so what we do is but that's not meaningful to you. You're not going to do that without the money. So what we want to do is help people so they can be joyful in what they're doing, whether they get the money or not. But the deal is they're going to get the money because when something is meaningful to you, you see things that when you're focusing on the money that you don't. When you
Yeah.
know, so let's take a military guy who's interested in getting more out of life. So talk to me about one of your clients, Zach. Do you have a particular client you work with? And let's just throw him out there. I'll tell you what we might be able to do with him.
Well, we've this why don't we just do this? You were asking me a question before we were coming on, and you were asking me questions about myself. Why don't
Right.
Is this a good
Yeah,
time?
we'll use you. Yeah, we'll use you.
There
Yeah,
we go. We'll just use me. So go on ahead and ask away, and we
so
can. Oh,
why
by
did you
the way,
join the military?
if anybody has any questions, type them in. We'll ask the questions right now live on air. So please do.
Great. So why did you go into the military?
Actually, sir, I did not go into the military.
Oh, I thought you were in the
Yeah,
military. I
no,
just took
no,
that for granted.
no, no. I did not. And you know, JW, I didn't want to cut my hair and I didn't want to get yelled at, so I got married instead.
And then you had to cut your hair and behave anyway. I get it.
No, I just pulled my hair out, so that was 2 marriages ago. But yeah, I just ended up pulling my marriages or pulling my hair out, and yeah, I have definitely definitely been
That's
yelled at enough.
that's great. That's great. That's great.
So
Well, yeah. So basically, what everybody is doing is they're searching for meaning, and that is why you ended up doing what you did in life. People that would go into the military going because they think it'll give them more meaning. And,
yeah,
wherever we go, basically we're chasing meaning. But what can happen is we can think money will give us meaning. And literally, there's plenty of psychiatric hospitals full of rich people that don't have meaning in their life. Without meaning, we don't have a rudder to our ship. So we go for the money. And then it's stressful because meaning creates neurochemicals of joy like dopamine, serotonin, norepinephrine, lowers your cortisol, your stress hormone levels. So what happens is when you don't have it and you're chasing it, it's really a very difficult time to be in. And so if you can help people understand what's meaningful to them while they're in the process, one, their brain becomes more efficient, their focus becomes more efficient, and the results increase dramatically.
yeah.
So I'm thinking on this call, maybe there's a way, Zach, to use your background. So, Zach, I think maybe it would help Les and I if you gave us a little background about how you got into this. And then maybe that'll give us some context from where we could figure out, how we take this information and make you a market leader.
Yeah, JW, this all got started because look, I am a biker. Okay, I love the biker.
What kind of bike do you have?
A Harley day. I'm a Harley guy. I am a Harley guy. I've had both. I had a Fat Boy. The Fat Boy is what I got ran off the road on, and then I got a Geezer. Or I had a Geezer Glide. Loved them both. Would ride them all the time. I just can't get anything smaller than a Fat Boy. I really would look like an elephant riding a unicycle. It would not be a good look. So you know, but I like the bigger, beefier. I just it fits me better. But yeah, I'm huge into that. So and it looks like we hopefully he
Lost
can
him
still
again.
hear. But yeah,
Can you hear us? Nope, he's
uh,
gone.
it looks like his phone may have died on us. So, but why don't let's while we're waiting for him because I don't want to. Oh,
Oh, here he is.
there we are. So yeah, JW. One of the things that we do as bikers is we spend every weekend trying to find ways to help people. There's a lot of times that people see us and we're out and they're like, oh God, here they are. They're all, getting together. They're out there in their black leather, drinking beer, raising hell, doing all this. And they're right. We are. But we're doing it most of the time to raise money for a cause.
Right,
I've
right.
always loved trying to find different ways to help people. And when I was run off the road 10 years ago, and I was left in a ditch for multiple hours. And I knew that when I was starting to come around to it with the fractured skull, busted face, and the broken neck, I knew my life was going to be different.
Hmm.
And so my first thought, JW, was I was going to get into event planning. And I started putting the pieces together and started coming up with all these wonderful ideas. What do I need to do for event planning? It was a long 15 seconds because I realized I don't like people enough to plan events for them. So,
Oh,
you know, that's not going to work for me. So, I I started thinking about it and one of the things that I enjoy the most are small businesses, small nonprofits.
yeah, that's meaningful to you.
Yeah, it means everything to me.
So that meaning is in your head, so you're attracted to that category.
Yeah, very much so.
It's almost like you don't have a choice.
Yeah, you know, I guess I could say I would have a choice, but why?
Yeah,
I would much rather be able to tell the story of a small business owner like Les, somebody who is out there doing good, and you know what? When people have a problem, they call less. They don't call corporate or somebody in another country that they can't understand, that doesn't understand what they're talking about. They
right,
call the individual who is in charge. They call him. They get answers. They get that real. Okay. And one of the things that I love doing, and what we try to do with this show, with everything that we do, is we tell people more than just business. We want to know what Les did with, he and his wife, they go on these wonderful dinners, they go on these wonderful dates. We want to know about that stuff. We want to know more about people, because every single one of us, JW, and this is the way I truly, truly feel. Every single one of us, we're going to say something that we don't think it means a whole hell of a lot. Okay. But there's going to be somebody sitting in the background with a problem that's going to hear what we say, and it's
that's
going to
right,
click in their mind, and they're going to go, holy shit, that's it. That's what I've been missing. And it could just be the way that you structure a sentence, and it's going to make sense to them.
right,
And it's going to change their way of thinking, and it's going to get them out of an issue. And so
right,
that's the reason why I love working with small businesses, small nonprofits, love trying to find different ways to help people.
right. So I'm what? So how do you think we could work together? What do you think? How do you think we could work together?
Les, our JW and Les, I mean, I love the track that we're on right now. I really hope that we're able to find more people to where we can, because I see what you're saying with
Yeah,
the things that we learned in school. I love history. I love right now. I love history. I live history. I pay attention to history at least 10 hours a day. Whether it's,
that's because it's meaningful to
yeah,
you, and all we have to do
hated
is
it in school.
right. But all we have to do is figure out what is meaningful to our target audience generally, and then we package our marketing into what's already in their head, and then they don't have a choice.
Yeah,
And this is not selling. This is matching meanings. It's very different.
yeah,
Selling creates resistance. When you can help somebody get more what's meaningful in their lives, they will never leave you alone.
yeah, and let's be honest here, small nonprofits, okay, small business owners, they do this because there was something that happened in their life.
Yeah,
There was something that happened. Say they went out to go buy their first house, and they were like, you know what? If I was going to sell a house, I would have done this because I know that was the one piece that was missing when I bought my house.
yeah.
So when I'm going to go and sell this house, I'm going to do it this way because I think that's going to mean something for people. Small nonprofits, they sit there and they don't build a nonprofit because they have an extra $100 in their pocket and they're like, yeah, what the hell? They build these organizations because something happened in their life, something physically
Yes,
and
yeah, that's
mentally touched
exactly right.
them.
A defining event. Something
Yep,
happened. We
that's it.
call it at the Institute, we call it a precipitating event. It's an event that participated, kind of like got them to do something else that they would have not been doing before. And see, people in the military, this is why I think maybe it's you or maybe it's you and a group of other people, but I think if we could come together with the world's number one training, learning, transformation program for people that were in the military after you get out, you'd be in great shape because everybody that comes out of the military has the same problem. What the hell am I going to do next?
Yet you look when these kids join the military, they basically and we talked to Terry the other day, and Terry said when my son went in, I received a box, and this box had everything from his underwear to his shoes to his retainer. And basically it was like, Mom, here's the son that you knew because he's not here no more.
Right.
They take away, and Les, you are a veteran. You can
Yes.
attest to this.
Yes.
They take away your first 18 years. Your
Yeah.
first 18 years is now irrelevant.
And it's the first day you get to base. They
Yeah,
say, here's your new clothes, get all that stuff in the box and get rid of it. Yep.
yeah. So yeah, and then when they let you go, they put you in a small bit of training, and they let you get on with life. And we're expecting these people to take and adjust
Right.
as simply as that. And there's a misconnect there. There is a terrible, terrible disconnect there because no, look, you can't forget what you've learned just and the way that you've lived
Right.
for two,
You're,
three,
you're,
4
you're
years.
not going to forget it. What you can do, though, is you can use it to make your present better.
Very much so.
Yeah. And here's the fascinating thing whether you're in the military or not, basically, against this has never worked. Everybody thinks power is the answer. But if you look back in history to prehistoric times, the tribes that would beat the other tribe would get defeated. Then, after a few years to a few months to whatever, then the guys that got defeated would come up and defeat the guys that defeated them. And this has been the history of war in the world forever. War doesn't work. It only stops us for a while until the next war.
Yep.
And
Yep.
and here's the fascinating thing. I don't want to get against anything, but basically what happens is the once you see force as your answer to a problem, it's hard for your brain to unwind from that. That's where Trump is right now. It's not that it's good or bad, it's just biology. Once you see force as the answer, you don't get off it. But the problem is force is making you use less of your brain power. It literally forces the blood flow in your brain to the least evolved part of your brain. So what happens there? I use more force to kick your ass. So what do? You use more force to kick my ass. And then we just do this until we blow each other up. That's exactly if we stay on this track where the world will go. I'll,
I think another great example of that is when we are children, when we are small children, and we get set in front of that toy set with the round peg, square hole. We sit there and pick up that mallet, and we're going to beat the hell out of that thing. And
that's right. Yeah.
we get mad,
Yeah,
and
that's
we
right.
get angry,
Yeah.
and we walk away. We throw a
Right.
fit and we walk away until we realize, wait a minute, hold on, this
There's
looks
got to be a
familiar.
better way.
Yeah. I and this is perfect because the other day I was doing a more advanced puzzle than she is. My 3-year-old granddaughter. We were sitting down, we were doing a puzzle. And I experienced this. She got so frustrated because she couldn't figure it out because there were a lot of pieces for her.
Uh huh.
But once I explained to her how it goes, how you don't need to force it when they go together nice and easy. As soon as she got it, there was celebration, not frustration.
That's right. That's right.
Mhm.
And then what you say is, remember the last time when you were frustrated, you broke through, and they see the pattern. And yeah. So and there's nothing better than working with kids like you're doing. You get to see it in action. So
Yeah.
here's what I'm thinking: if you have time, what I would do is I would get the book Cracking the Learning Code, and I would just skim the first 2 chapters about what's wrong in the world because it's what's wrong in the mills, it's wrong everywhere. And then I would go to the chapters on the called the Meaning Network. Just get the ebook for $4. And then I would skim a couple of those chapters. And then I think we could come back, unless you tell me what you think. I think we could come up and we could create something that maybe is the number one learning system for people that have been in the military. Now, we don't do it ourselves. We may get other people and we may get partners. But there's a huge problem here. And the solutions that we're using are not really getting people what they want.
Correct.
And so I think if we could start thinking about that, how we position this as the number one learning program or transformational program in the world for people that have been in the military, so they could get more of what they want. Holy moly, that's a
And
moneymaker right there.
And see, also, Zach, all of the different military people that are already in out of the service and in business. Again, by representing the cracking the sales code, you can go in there and help them with their business. And you can
Yeah.
also do that with nonprofits because everybody needs to understand how the brain works.
Yeah.
And once they do that, the nonprofit gets more funding or supporters and everything, and you can be a leader in this.
Yeah. Well, as JW is talking about, he does have a book, cracking the brain or
The learning
cracking
code.
the learning code. Sorry about that. The science of transforming, and you can find his book right here on Amazon, just by putting in, as you can see up top. I just hit in JW Wilson. His book came right up, so you can go to JW Wilson, and it's right there. $4.99 for Kindle, $30 for paperback. So, but you can just go on to Amazon and click JW Wilson. You'll find the book, uh, and I look forward to reading more about that. Um, and look, I really enjoyed JW you being on with us the last couple months, because this is so important what we're trying to do. Our focus is trying to help these small businesses. One of the other things that we're doing with our networking group, which is tomorrow, is we are trying to get people who are looking for jobs to come on. And JW, I think that what you're doing, unless what you guys
That'd
are
be fun.
doing,
Yeah, it'd be fun. Yeah.
I think this is so important, because you could take somebody who is giving us that verbal resume, and you can say, look, you can polish this up by simply doing this. So, I mean, look, we are looking for people to join us the first or the second Thursday of every month, on our networking group, and everybody is more than welcome to come and join us for the first part, or for the rest of this year. But yeah, you know, Les, this is fantastic. I love this conversation. I really do.
Right. And that's one of the things that I'm excited about it because the more I spend time with JW, the more I understand all the mistakes that the education, even corporate and so forth, have made. And that's what we're super excited that the course should be out hopefully next week. And then, and that's one of the things. It's real life help. It's not theory. It works. And that's so much out there is theory, and people try it and can't figure out why it doesn't work and so forth. But this, it's the brain.
Right, right. So, well, gentlemen, this again has been fantastic. JW, I want to thank you for the last 2 months. And of course, you're always welcome to come back anytime that you want. I think that the more people we can get on here, we can help them turn their life
I
around.
got I got some ideas, Zach. I think what we ought to do, Les, you and I ought to take a time to talk after, maybe later in the week, that we ought to set up a time to talk because you're on to something. And what I know about the military brain or that kind of brain, I think there's a lot we could help in a lot of different areas. And I'd love to work with you and try to
Well,
figure
look,
out how to do that.
as Les knows, and he's been a huge part of the last 2 years, I do a 22-hour podcast every February 22nd for veterans for the mental health and suicide ideation. I put myself out there for 22 hours. You know, God love everybody who can sit there and listen to even 22 minutes of it. But, we have a lot of fun. We hear stories.
Oh, this would be
Oh,
fun to,
oh,
yeah, let's talk about that because I'd like to I got some ideas for promoting something like that.
yeah. Hey, you know what? Let's make sure that that happens. So, but JW, thank you very much for the last couple of months. And like I said, you're more than welcome to join. All you got to do is get a hold of me. I'd love to talk to you more. Less, of course. You're my brother. I appreciate this so much. You're an invaluable partner. I love having your partnership, and we're gonna just keep going till we get it right. Right?
All right. Yeah, we just need a little more form to this. We need to get clear about what our goal is, and then we got to get an operational plan to make it happen. you're onto something, dude. I'm in. I'm in.
That
Okay.
sounds great. I appreciate it. Well, Les, do you have anything final for us?
No, I think we pretty much covered it all. And again, the course is going to be out, and we're going to offer people to represent it, and we'll be back. And then your niche is small businesses. I'm sure some people listening would like to be able to go up to a car dealership with 12 salespeople and so forth. But I don't know if that's your idea of small business also. But you have a lot of connections. You've been in Greeley for a long time, so we can get the word out and help businesses and help your pocketbook at the same time.
Boy, I have been in Greeley for a long time. I've been here for at least a day or two.
Yeah.
So, all right, gentlemen.
All
All
right.
right, guys. Thanks so much.
Hey, thank
Uh,
you both
And
very
sorry, and
much.
sorry for the technical problems I had, guy. I don't know what was going on. I
You know
apologize.
what's funny though is that we fought through it. We stuck with it and we got it done. So
Get it done.
I mean that's just what we've got to do. That's what we expect other people to do. That's what we did. We got her done. So,
Okay, guys. Thank
but
you so much, and
no
yeah.
problem.
thank you, guys.
Hey, thank you
Bye-bye.
both very much. Have a great evening.
Bye bye.
I want to thank Les. I want to thank JW very much for joining us. Again, there's so much in that because the truth is that look, it's in all of us to succeed. Okay, it's really how we go about it. What do we, are we going to try to plan things and bum rush? Or are we going to, like they're saying, forget? You don't have to forget what you learned in school because JW is telling you you don't remember a lot of it anyway. You study, in which this is one of the things that we talked about the last time that we didn't really talk about too much. Okay. One of the things that happens when you're in school is you study and you think you remember, but the truth is that you're sitting there and you're listening to stuff because you're studying for a quiz that that's coming up on Friday. By Saturday, when you're playing on the merry-go-round and playing with your cute little girlfriend, or you're riding bikes, or you know those naughty people who are out having parties. Kids, don't do that. It's dangerous. But when they're out there, you're not thinking about what you learned. And if you don't, you hear it all the time. If you don't feed your brain doesn't stick. Okay. So you got to make sure that you're feeding your brain. You got to make sure that you're making sure that information is staying in there. It's so very important. So, Les Simpson, you can get a hold of Les Simpson by giving him a call at 303 579 6881. 303 579 6881. You can shoot him an email at les@corecentrica.com. That's les@corecentrica.com. Again, you can also get a hold of J.W. Wilson by going to thelearningcode.com. You can learn more about him, and it will direct you to where you can buy his book, Cracking the Learning Code. A lot of information in there. One of the things, and I've learned this through a couple conversations I've had, is that anybody who's ever taken a sales class, you hear about those the 4 types of people. And it always tells you that, you're going to be able to match with one person, somewhat work with another person, but you're going to have a problem with this person. Really? I think we don't need to do that if we expand on what we've learned. If we keep expanding, if we keep learning things, there's no reason why you can't work with someone else. Maybe working with somebody is a giant pain in the butt. Okay. I don't know anybody who's a business person that's a giant pain in the butt. I'm just telling you. I don't know a single. Yeah. There are people who you're not going to quite understand, that you're not going to quite get along with, but by God, you can do business with them. It's how you talk to them. It's how you engage with them. Okay. JW, Les, they're going to tell you it's how you work, how you entice their brain. And, you know, that's extremely important. You can also get a hold of my buddy, my brother, Alan Holmes, the Master Connector, by giving him a call at 951 599 8141, 951 599 8141, or shoot him an email at themasterconnectorscreate@gmail.com, themasterconnectorscreate@gmail.com. Tomorrow, when this video shows up on YouTube, you're going to be able to find it right there on the YouTube channel, all this information. If you need to get a hold of anyone, if you want to talk to anybody that we just talked to tonight, there's all my information. You can get a hold of me right there. We've made a change at Community Pay It Forward, and that change is simple. This QR code now, you can come and you can join us, and you have full carte blanche of building your page. Okay? You don't have to wait for us to do it anymore. You simply pick your package, you put your information in, we look it over, make sure it goes with our standards, with our everything that our company stands for. As long as it does, we approve it. You become a Community Pay It Forward partner. Community Pay It Forward, we have a simple program. It's called Shop, Click, and Pick. Introducing Shop, Click, and Pick, the simplest way to support those doing good in communities everywhere. We understand that shopping is a necessity, but with a slight adjustment, you can make a huge difference without spending any extra money. Here's how it works. Please visit communitypayitforward.us and navigate to the Find Your Partners tab. Discover our verified giving partners, which are trusted allies ready to meet your needs. Shop with any of the partners that resonate with you. Click a picture of the receipt or invoice, then pick the mission partner you wish to support and use their QR code to send the receipt directly to us. After that, all you have to do is sit back and enjoy your purchases, knowing that you've made a meaningful change for someone in need. Community Pay It Forward amplifies your business's impact by sharing the story of those who require your services, rallying support for those who need us all. Because no one needs to go it alone when we all come together. You have worked hard to build your brand. Community Pay It Forward thinks you should be able to build your own profile. And now, thanks to ZWorld Webs, you can. Start by scanning this code, choose your package, and share the important information your future clients need in order to find you. Because when they find you, we can help everyone. No one needs to go it alone when we all God, I love that song. I do. I think I need to find that song for my ringtone. I really do. I just, after the 24th, that's no longer going to be a commercial I'm going to be playing anymore. We are looking for people to help us out build some collection boxes. With these collection boxes, it's very, very simple. If you have a couple kids around your house, you're looking for something fun to do. What we ask you to do is go out, go to Walmart. You can get them for about $1 a piece. Grab a couple pieces of poster board. While you're there, right in the same area, just pick up a large box. Don't get one of those thicker boxes that cost like $3. Just get one that, $1.68, whatever it is. Have your kids and maybe a couple of their friends get really artistic and ask them a simple question. What does community mean to you? What do the holidays mean to you? What is your favorite memory of Hanukkah? What's your favorite memory of Christmas? Then what I ask you to do is take those pictures, glue them, tape them to the side of that box, and then go to some of the places that you frequent and ask, hey, can we drop this box off here so we can we can start collecting new books? What we're going to do with those new books is very, very simple. As you see over here, you've got a couple books, okay? We're going to talk more about this in just a second. But what we do with our books is we ask people to take and open the inside of the book and write a message right up here. Just write a message to a child, okay? Now, what's going to happen with this book is there's going to be a nurse that's going to write to and then put a child's name on there when this kid happens to have to spend time in the hospital. They're going to give this book to a child. That child's going to have a memory of something other than the terrible things that they went through in that hospital. Now, why would you collect books to send me books if you're in, let's just say, Tennessee? I'm not asking you to send them to me. Pretty sure that you've got hospitals in your location. Let's come together. Let's make this happen. Let's collect books for your hospital. You let me know where these where these collecting boxes are. And what we're going to do is we're going to put it out everywhere. Hey, go and drop off books at, this place. They've got to be new books, folks. They've got to be new books. Hospitals have to have new books because of illnesses and stuff. So I know a lot of people come to us and they say, hey, my kid barely looked at this book. We know kids. All right. They do carry germs. We can't send germs to a local hospital. You just can't do it. I mentioned these books here. When you scan this code, you are going to have a chance to bid to be the sponsor of Maggie Van Galen reading her book. She's the author of these 3 books. You've got the Banana Tree. You've got the Diamond Mine, M-I-N-E, Diamond Mine. And you've got A New Friend. She's going to read all 3 of these books. We're going to draw a name out of somebody who purchases a ticket. And that person is going to get to come on and say, hey, you know what? We are very, very proud to be the sponsor of the Maggie Van Galen Reading Hour. You're going to get to tell us about your family. You're going to get to tell us about your business. You're going to get to tell us about whatever you want. Hi, my name is Ralph, and I want to tell you about Ralph's Tires. We're located in this area. We love to do tires for people. And I want to welcome Maggie Van Galen to the show to read her 3 books. Okay? Then you come on at the end of the hour. My name is Ralph with Ralph's Tires, located at ... I would like to tell my friends, my family, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever, as long as it's positive. Your logo goes right here the entire hour while Maggie's reading. Your logo is right there. When you scan this code, where you go for the payments, there's a place where you can donate $5. Every $5 donation goes towards buying books. Then you can find sponsorship levels. Okay, there's 4 different sponsorship levels. And then on the very bottom choice is to buy a ticket for $20. Purchase as many tickets as you want. You can enter as many times as you want. And we're going to draw a name from somebody who has bid, and they are going to be Maggie Van Galen's sole sponsor. Now, this is a chance for as little as $20 for you to make a huge difference in a miracle of a community that cares. So we're going to ask you, please scan the QR code, get involved, and be part of this. Hey everyone, it's Zach, introducing a special edition to Miracle of a Community That Cares event, where award-winning children's author and community Pay It Forward giving partner Maggie Van Galen is generously donating 3 of her beloved books and 1 hour virtual authors meeting valued at over $175. You know us, we're going to do things a little bit different. Maggie will personally read these heartwarming stories during the event. You could be the solo sponsor of this read. Tickets are just $20, and the winning ticket holder will be announced December 21st at noon East. Don't miss a chance to make a meaningful impact this holiday season and get your tickets now by scanning the QR code or visiting us at communitypayitforward.us. When the form opens up, this is what it'll look like. Scroll down to the Make a Donation, Purchase a Ticket, or Become a Sponsor section. Get involved how it best suits you. Tickets can be bought by selecting the last option of this section. Thank you for supporting a miracle of a community that cares. Oops. One of these days I'll get used to this whole computer thing, that mute thing. Why don't they make it to where now as soon as you... Well, I guess that would be a bad thing. I talk a lot when I'm on mute, and I do that so people can't hear me. So, never mind. Terrible suggestion. Anyway, if you are a children's author and you would like to maybe do something similar, contact us. How do you do that? Scan the code. If you're a volunteer, you would like to help us out with social media, would you like to donate to the organization, help us out? Scan the code. If you have an idea, you think of a way that we can help others, scan the code. If you just want to be involved, tell us about how you celebrated as a kid. Tell us about how you... family traditions. Send a message to somebody that you can't spend this holiday with, that you love. Scan the code. 37 hours, folks. We're putting together a program for 37 hours. We're going to let you talk and tell people. Give us a story about your childhood. Give us a way that grandma used to make her pies. Tell us about how you all got together and you did something specific during the holidays. Tell us these stories, because you know what? There's somebody out there right now that's just getting started with their family, and they're like, we want something. My family never celebrated in any specific way. I wonder what we could do to have fun. And they're going to hear your idea and they're like, that's it. That's the winner. That's what we're going to do. Let's use what we know to serve others, to help others. Let's bring people together. We're looking for people in other cultures to come on and talk to us. This is not a Christmas event. This is a holiday event. December is a horrible month for people and emotions. How many times when you were, and this is for parents out there with younger kids, how many times during Christmas did you just wish that you could have just a little bit more for that kid, those kids? But you don't. It hurts. It really hurts when you're struggling and you're not sure if you can do anything for the kid, including having a dinner. Let's work together. Let's discuss with each other ways that we can help. Let's just tell people, you know what? I know you work during the holiday season. Thank you for what you do. I know you're deployed and you can't be with your family. Thank you for making this sacrifice to our country, to our community, to our state, to whatever. Thank you. Let's be positive. Let's lift in a time where we're sitting there and we're pushing down. Let's stop the hate. Let's start lifting and let's start understanding. One of the main reasons, sorry about the dog, he apparently doesn't know his mommy. She just came downstairs and the damn dog started barking at her. Stupid monkey. One of the main reasons why we don't get along with others, folks, is because we don't understand other people. Scan the code. Let's stop the nonsense. Let's create a miracle of a community that's coming together. This holiday season, as the world celebrates in so many ways, some families are facing it apart, feeling the weight of loneliness. At a miracle of a community that cares, we are creating a space where everyone, regardless of faith or background, can share in the joy of this wonderful season. Join Santa and leaders from all walks of life for stories, special shout-outs, and heartfelt messages from loved ones near and far. Children are taking the lead with art and fun, helping us bring the gift of books to children everywhere. Children in hospitals, children to families of all faiths, and to fortify traditions of families. This season, let's come together as a global community, one that cares, one that gives, and one that embraces all cultures, part of the miracle. Join us from December 24th to December 26th, and let's make this season unforgettable for everyone. This is a guy that we've had on the show quite a few times. It's been a while. I realized that the other day when I was going through and I saw nothing on my walls. If I have nothing on my walls, I'm either lost in the library or lost, one of the two. But we were moving at the time, so now we decided to get caught up. But that doesn't mean that you don't hear about him, because you'll hear about Trevor all the time when we're talking to Angela and Daniel with our show. You hear about me talking about him all the time because of accessibility and how important that is with your website. I'm proud to bring on the web detective, Trevor Gibbs. How you doing, my friend?
I know, very good. It's a pleasure to be here. I'll take my hat off to you because you do a great job, and it's a little bit warm, and most people will recognize this ugly feature as opposed to the one hiding under a great big hat like that.
I was actually going to go on ahead and put on my hat, but when I do that, it just looks a little funny. So, and and hey, you know what? Us follically impaired individuals, we got to kind of stick
Yes,
together. So,
exactly.
Trevor, you've went through a couple branding changes, and you've stuck with just the web detective. Why was this change important?
I think a lot of it was the change was that when I started the web detective, a lot of it started around accessibility. And if I roll back, if anybody's seen the old video, they get it. It was a lot of that time was focusing on the nonprofits, giving them engagement tools so they could actually get out there in the market. And of course, when COVID came, a lot of things changed. And I didn't have the heart to look up to them and say, hey, look, you still got to pay for these services, even though you can't connect with each other, even though you got to stay at home and all the other things. So I went, you know what, we'll just time out. And there I was networking like we all were, get onto Zoom. And this guy says, well, why didn't you make the client's website accessible? And it was a very good question. Long story short, made the client accessible, but realized that because I'd really diverted into that accessibility, because it was a huge area that most people were not talking about. It was an area that really is so important, not just for the disability community, but for so many other people. And we'll get into who it helps a little bit later. But the passion was, and I realized that because I was helping, the web detective was somebody that could actually help still the nonprofits, but focus on those small businesses that can't get the professional coaching, the small business that's looking to stand up against the big boys and have a great marketing platform so they can be found. A lot of people think social media is the trick. It's not. The main thing about social media is it only tells people that you still exist after you've reached them. But most businesses are looking, how do I find my new client? How do they find me? And you well know this, Zach. You've heard of stranger danger. Well, that's it for any small business. But before you're a stranger, I got to spend time with you. I got to engage with you and see if I like and trust you. And as soon as I've had that meeting, we're off on the internet and we're Google checking everybody. And if that, as a web detective, if I can't make sure that they find the right information, that is where it comes from. So kind of maybe a long answer to maybe a short question there, but that's why I decided the web detective was the route to go.
People understand that having a presence on social media is very important, but social media is just the first stop. I know whenever I go to LinkedIn, I find somebody on LinkedIn, but I always navigate to their website. I always do that. So it's kind of it's definitely something that you need to work in conjunction with each other, right?
Correct. Yes. Like I said, the social media is just to remind people you exist. Probably you went to the LinkedIn profile, let's say at mine, because we had an engagement. Oh, who is he? Well, the only place I know I can really find him because he said he was on LinkedIn. So let's see if he's a professional person. Sometimes that's not the easy search you can do. So then you remember, oh, the company name. Well, I'll get out onto Google, and that's when you get lost. The social media is great, but you've got to remember you've already had engagement. 80% of businesses are trying to capture the attention of somebody that doesn't know they exist. And that's the prime function of where today we say, use all the other assets out there. Don't focus on just the social media. I like to know you're still around, but so I engage with the most important element when I think we all do in business, and that's time. Google ranks web presence by the amount of time people spend on your website. You validate people by the amount of time that you spend in front of them, beginning to find synergies, find collaborative ways that you can work together, or explain the service that you have. And I then think, oh, I like Zach, I like what he's doing. And I build that trust. You're honest, you're transparent. And if I can get it from just face to face once, awesome. But that doesn't happen all the time. That's about 2% of the people you engage with. You know you're going to go onto other platforms to try to validate maybe not just the person, but is the company registered? What do other people think of these? Because we can all have a great day or a bad day, but was that just a good day and that's not really the way they act? So you need all those other elements out there on what I call your digital assets, and use that as your primary source. Always think about it. Your website is the only thing that you own. If you own it, use it.
Yep.
You know, why would you want to sleep at somebody else's house or a hotel if you've got a home with a nice warm bed in it that you designed? You know, you come home every night because it's yours. You don't sleep everywhere else. So the same with your website.
And you also want to make sure other people can come and visit that nice new house that you built, because, and especially when these people that are needing to visit your website, there's $2 trillion that they're looking to spend, right?
Correct. Yes. When we take the disability community, which I think is the largest group people spend online, here in the US, they're the second largest group. If you look some research, I call them the largest spenders because they spend around $480 to $500 billion a year online for products and services. Now, if you want to know who the first group is, I'll tell you. They're influencers. The reason I call them influencers, they're teenagers, because they normally tell their parents what to spend the money on. And because they're influencing other people to spend money on, it's not a great target market. But a target market who's constantly spending are the people with disabilities. So yeah, why wouldn't you market to those? Makes a good logical sense when you talk about numbers.
Yeah, I know that it's so important, and we try to drive this position on people, try to drive this information on people, because it's kind of like if I went to a website and it was all in Spanish, I'm not going to buy from that website because I don't understand what I'm looking at. Unless, of course, it's like a Mexican food restaurant, then I'm going to buy from it because I'm a fat guy and visuals. But
yes,
generally, we are not going to, we're not going to stay on a website that we don't understand. Well, that's what's going to happen with people with different, who are have ability challenges. If they can't understand your website, if they can't follow along with your website, they're just going to move on.
Yeah, it's the easy thing. Why do you get so many bounce backs where people just come and go? Well, with or without technology, if you look at a website and the first message is, oh, I'm the greatest person in town, the best one, like, yeah, but why are you saying that? How do I prove that? Well, you're so full of yourself. I'll go to someone else who's offering me the answer that I'm looking for, because that wasn't the answer I asked into AI or Google these days, because again, Google's all about giving you answers, not search results. So if I land there and it's talking about the business owner, it's like, well, you're full of what? I didn't ask for this. Likewise, if you're talking about a product and its great services, that may interest me, but be the hero and then consider the people which would say, like, okay, what other options are there available? Simple is easy to understand. So by keeping it simple, if you've got a nice welcome, oh, here's the business owner, here's a welcome video, that helps. How do I help you? How do I solve your problem? Because we're all problem solvers. No matter what you have, a product or a service, we're a problem solver. And if I can't identify how you're solving my problem, I'm leaving. And of course, if I need a screen reader, if the colors are all wrong, if the fonts are wrong, if all of a sudden there's big flashing lights and loud music going on because you think it's great. Thankfully, these days there are not many websites still built that way, but there are some. Or if I just look at one and it's like reading a page out of the Bible, it's just words and words and words and words and words and words and words. It's like, oh, I have got time to read that. And where do I find the information? I leave. So when we talk about accessibility, it is for all, but primarily those that maybe need a little bit of extra help, in the sense that let's make it easy. A screen reader is the one that most people think of, but I often say, what about when I suffer with migraines or light sensitivity? I get there and gosh, it's a white background. I really could have done with a black background today, but it is what it is. But I'm gonna, oh, hang on, all the text is written in grey. That's not helping me. And I've got slabs of text. You know what? I'm going to leave. I'm going to find another one that's just got a simple intro video there. That's what accessible is being.
And I think this is a great time to bring up a point that you and I were just talking about, that, there are people who really, really try, who do everything that they can do to try to be accessible, but there's always things that go through that you're like, that slip through. And you and I are both, and we were discussing this before we started recording. You and I are both people who, you can explain something with 13 words, but we're going to use 1,300. And a lot of times that's just a problem, because there's just too much information. We like to throw information at people, and that's not because we're trying to, it's not trying to do anything to disparage anyone. It's just who we are in trying to explain things. Over your shoulder, you have a free web audit. Explain to us how important that web audit is.
That web audit is so important because at the end of the day, it'll tell you how accessible you are, but it'll also give you information about how you handle people's data. Because at the end of the day, people are concerned about that. If you can't read the small print, who wants to read the contract at the end of the thing, the end user agreement? No one wants to do that. But we were all concerned. So the web audit is basically a very quick snapshot. We look at your website, we see how accessible it is. Does it have the color contrast? Is it easy to read? Like I said, do you have cookies on there? We'll do that check as well, just to make sure how compliant you are. Because at some point, this is something I think I may have said to you many times before. I do it with tongue in cheek. Having come to America, the one thing that I learned very quickly, it doesn't matter what you say or what you do, just means I can sue you. Now, living in a litigious society, you have to consider that. Who may want to sue me? Who may want to ruin my reputation? And how can I do that? Well, I can slam dunk hundreds of thousands of posts on social media saying this is the worst service ever. I can go to all the Google review platforms and the Trustpilots and all the other platforms for reviews and give you 1-star reviews. Is that going to help anybody? No, it's not. And with that in mind, you've got to protect your reputation, because when you work with a specific person, you hope they're going to refer you. Now, I would tell you, I may tell a couple of friends, I may tell my family. When you work with somebody with who needs some different solutions, let's call it the disability community. I'm old-fashioned. I come from England. We call them disabilities. And I hope I don't offend anybody with that. It's not meant that way. Now, because of that, 1 in 4 people have some form of disability. We'll take a modern setup of a family. We got 2 parents, maybe 2 children. We got the in-laws. So that makes 6 people. Maybe now you've got a cousin or an uncle or a niece. Couple of cousins thrown in there, grandparents. You're looking at an average of 10 to 20 people in a family setup. Well, if 1 in 4, that may be 3 people in that scenario may have a disability, but let's keep it to 1. Now, if you as a company actually serve and make inclusion a priority in your business, what happens? Well, the person who got the inclusion, feels happy that you've actually stood out from the market to welcome me. Thank you. I'm going to tell who? well, maybe not my family immediately, but certainly all my community and the social groups that I am interested in with people with similar disabilities as myself. They are going to actively come and seek you out because you're inclusive. And that's what it's all about today. We're talking about inclusion so much today that we often forget that when it happens, we have to reward it. Once I tell my family, they're going to go, oh, wonderful, somebody actually understands. Let us support that business as well. Let us support them in the community. So again, you're actually marketing to one person, which you're not really marketing to one, you're marketing to everybody. But because that one person has a greater experience, a greater inclusion, the results are coming back to tenfold because, 1 to 20, 1 to 10, that family are going to say, we acknowledge that you made the inclusion decision. We acknowledge that and we will support you.
Yeah. And one of the other things I would like to take and expound on what you said, we need to remember, we're talking about exclusive, I'm sorry, accessibility here, but that's not just people who are visually impaired or hearing impaired or something like. You know what? As we get older, we can't read that smaller font. Okay. The healthiest person in the world is always going to have a physical drop off at some point in time. The glasses are going to get a little bit thicker. The hearing's not going to be what it once was. I mean, that's just the carpal tunnel's going to start working. I mean, we're not talking about an exclusive section of the society. We're talking about everyone at some point in time is going to, going to have this problem.
Exactly. This is what I say about making it accessible to all. You brought up, old age, which is a good one. But as we think about this, think about sports injuries, a temporary disability. Think about somebody with a migraine. Okay, color blindness. Well, that is actually a disability. Light sensitivity. Somebody with a stroke or a tremor. Everything you now see becomes slightly blurred. And if the text is small, that's not a great scenario. If I got ADHD and I want to turn off the sounds, one of the biggest things that a lot of people are not realizing, this is what I've been started to include with our accessibility pack, people with ADHD, they are distracted by outside interference. So although we might freeze the screen and highlight sections for people to read, which can happen to everybody, that makes it easier because we can remove all the images and just say, right, I got a nice text to read. The outside distraction is auditive. So now I'm putting on auditive sound, like we call brown noise, pink noise, which is like when you sit on an airplane, you listen to that whooshing sound, and it's calm, it blocks out all the interactions. By putting my headphones on and listening to that, I can focus on not only the website, the task at hand, but other things that happen as well, which is a great scenario. But just come back, you mentioned wearing eyeglasses. How many of us in some point may end up with eye stigma or even cataracts? That is a temporary disability that can last, 2-3 years, maybe 5 years to have both eyes operated on? Well, if you're looking at a website and it's blurry all the time, or you can't change the size of that font, you're not going to go there. You're going to find those that are going to have better ones. What about when you go into a shopping website and they've got colors of, let's say, t-shirts, and maybe they just label the colors, BL for black, BL for blue. Oh, that might not be quite a good option to do, but it could happen.
Yeah.
But quite often you have those key little round dots. Now, I always explain this. Do you remember as a kid you used to get these little puzzles? Acrylic case, plastic case with a picture in it with some holes and some little ball bearings, and you're chasing the balls around the holes.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine somebody with maybe a tremor in their hand, maybe the onset of Parkinson's, that being quite there. I've now got cataracts. Now, I'm trying to chase a white mouse on a white background to fill in a little black hole that's about the size of a pinhead. Really? Is that being accessible to people who are non-disabled? No, it's not.
Yeah. You are a a well-known world traveler here.
Mhm.
Is there a difference for accessibility in the US, in Europe, in Brazil? Is there a
Mhm.
difference there? Should there be? And what mistakes are we making when it comes to accessibility worldwide?
Oh, good question. I like this one. Yes, there are huge differences in different countries. I think Israel is one of the best countries in the world that take accessibility seriously.
Really?
It's not,
Wow.
yeah, you would not have considered that.
No, no.
Then their neighbors, for argument's sake, and I think this is a stat in the US, if I remember correctly, 1 in 8 people know sign language. I'm trying to think which, a lot of the Saudi Arabic countries, it's like 1 in 200. So they absolutely are hopeless at providing assistance to people who need sign language. Brazil, I reside down here quite a lot. They do a lot for people with disabilities. They have made it law that all websites, like the US, need to be compliant, especially when it comes to businesses and industries for the government and the local authority. I go to the cinema. They got ramps and everything. I go to the shops, and every shop, as you come in the doorway, has a little acrylic stand, I would call it, with a map of the store layout. And it's great. And you look at it and it says, okay, t-shirts over here, pants over here, shoes over here, and whatever. But if you look more carefully, it's not printed on the acrylic board. It's raised up. And in Braille, now I can actually use my hands and map out the whole of the store to do that. And it's like, wow, that is something that is so important. I don't see that in many other places. In Europe, they're catching on. Europe is actually bringing out mandated for June 2026, I believe, that all websites have to be accessible. It's a little bit too late. It's not going to happen. They're going to try. Like here in the US, it is a requirement to have. The problem is when you start looking at it, there's about 45 websites a second being produced in the world. So when you
Yeah.
take this as a world problem, we're too late to the game. The game is over. Everyone's packed up the stadium, gone home, and there's probably just a sweet wrapper or candy wrapper blown across the field that the sweeper missed up. That's probably also the significance is going to be. But we've got to try. We've got to start somewhere. Another thing that I like about Brazil is that the websites that you see, they focus on people being deaf. So you go to the theater, TV, they have people doing sign language. They even have on the government websites people that have sign language. Read the text and it'll give you the sign language so they can actually read the text. Even though they could read it, they rather look at the sign language, because if you know much about it, the comprehension of people with sign language isn't the same when you read it compared to when you see sign language. There's difference between it. So yeah, as a world, there's a lot of countries doing better, and there's a lot of countries not doing so great.
Most
But
of the stores here in the United States, if you're looking for navigation around store, you've got the big the boards that are up above the aisles, salt in aisle 6.
yeah,
That's not going to help somebody who can't see. So
no,
um I really, really appreciate you coming on. I want to congratulate you on the new branding, the Web Detective. I
thank
know
you.
that that's one of the things that you I mean, we've known you as the Web Detective as long as we've had you as a partner, which is fantastic. But are there anything else what? Are there anything is there anything else that you would like to make sure that we talk about before we cut this?
If we take off the accessibility hat for a while, the one thing that I like to offer the clients or anybody is about education. I'm here to educate, especially the small businesses. While you're great at doing what you do, what you don't know is probably a lot of things that I might know. And I come down from compliance. I spent a lot of years in finances doing compliance, and now I'm doing online compliance. Most people always get to hear about data breaches. IRS, AT&T, you name all the big corporations. Your information's over the dark web, and we get phone calls from people in India and Africa. And what happens? They're trying to make us believe it's a Google or a Microsoft people, and you got to look out for those scams. Well, the most of that data comes from the dark web. Now, there are companies who actually sell data because they gather data. But for a small business, and with the data laws that are now here in the US, there are now 19 states that all have their own data privacy rules and regulations. And I would like people to be aware to make sure that when you next go to a website and you get that little banner pop up, don't just say allow. This is called the cookie settings. Read what it is. I always say reject or go to the preferences. Cookies are things that track your movement. Now, obviously, there are certain cookies that you cannot stop working because it will break the website. But the rest of it is optional. You, as a resident of your state, immaterial where the website is, have the right to refuse that tracking from happening. You have the right to ask the company, what data do you hold of mine? What data are you sharing with third parties? And that third party is the key thing I want to highlight on. You also have the right to correct. So if you live in a state where that is, use it, because you want to stop your data being spread around. If you're doing it freely, stop spending it freely. If people want your information, sell them. Now, just to finish off, I said third parties. I've spoken to many, many business owners, and I say, are you sharing your client's data with anybody? No. Are you sure? Oh, yes, most definitely. We never share data. Well, if you have Google Analytics, if you have a website that's hosted by, let's say, some of the big firms, GoDaddy, HostGator, Hostinger, Cloudflare, whoever it is, that system, if you have a form on your website, that data has to go via that server before it comes to you. How many of us today use something like Calendly or a TidyCal to book in a system? How many of us use Zoom? All that information, which is name, email, phone number that we ask for, are going and being shared with third parties. And of course, the most obvious one, there's something called DCI, which is about protecting people's payments. How many of you don't tell that you are using a payment processor to take the client's money for the product or service you're selling? That is what is the basic thing about sharing data or trading data. You may not have thought about it because you always think about, oh, I'm selling it to the dark web. You have to inform people. And that's what I would like people to be, as a takeaway, is something to consider. They're unaware. I'm here to help. I'm here to point out what you maybe should not have done, or how you can actually bridge some of those gaps.
I think what you bring up is very important, because how many times have you sat there and why in the hell am I getting all these emails from this? I never signed up for these emails. Haha. Did you accept all cookies? Yes, you did.
Yes, you did.
Yes, you did. You accepted those. So if you don't want those, I'm exactly like you. I hit reject all. If it comes back and says, hey, we need this permission, or we need this cookie for this to go forward, I really reevaluate what I want to do, but I don't accept all. I don't ever accept all, because, there's no need to do that. So, Trevor, how do people get a hold of you, my friend?
Well, if they're watching here, if you want to get hold of me, scan the more purple QR code beneath me or next to me. If you want a free web audit, scan that one as well. Like I say, it's free. You'll find me on LinkedIn as Trevor Gibbs, or the Web Detective, on the social media channels, Facebook and Instagram. I'm on Alignable, that's another place. And of course, if you want to send an email, you can use the new one, which is trevor@thewebdetective.online. Just remember, I'm your web detective online. So trevor@thewebdetective.online.
And of course, you can always find all this information on communitypayitforward.us because Web Detective is one of our giving partners. He cares about the community, he cares about people. Look, I've known this man for a long time. He and I try to work together any step we can to support nonprofits, but without taking away the need for the small business. Building a website is exciting. Building a website can cost you everything if you don't do it right. Make sure you go through, do the free audit, find out what you need and what can make your business top of the line. Because if you don't, you may not get seen. It's really quite that simple. So, brother, thank you very much
Yes,
for
brother.
doing this. We definitely
Pleasure.
need to get back into more contact with each other. Like I said, I know
We
that we've
do.
both been going through quite a bit of transition and everything,
Yes.
but I love being able to spend every Thursday with you in another meeting,
Yeah.
Wednesday with you in another
As
meeting that
well.
we have. But
Yeah.
thank you so very much, and I
It's
look
a pleasure.
forward to a long relationship. And keeping this going. So Trevor Gibbs with the Web Detective. Thank you, brother.
Thank you very much, Zach. Take care.
Hello, world. My name is Z, or you can call me Mr. Z. I am a web developer, and I am also a consultant at Z World Webs. My one goal is to develop custom websites that are specifically catered to your organization's needs. I completely understand that building a website is an exhilarating, exciting, and significant step in connecting with your audience. Your organization has Z potential to make a meaningful impact, whether it's supporting animal rights, advocating for equality, combating human trafficking, or honoring the brave individuals who have served our country. Your mission is too important to be held back by the challenges a website can present. And I am here to ensure that your website works for you, not against you. Whether it's maintaining, developing, or redeveloping a custom website that is specifically catered to your needs. And with that being said, I would be more than delighted to learn more about your organization and, of course, develop a website, Z World.
Community Pay It Forward is excited to bring you a one-time year-end offer. Sign up for a gold or platinum giving or sponsorship package before December 31st, and we'll give you 2026 free of charge. That's a whole extra year of community support, visibility, and impact. Help your business grow while making a difference. With our exclusive packages, you're not just a sponsor, you're a partner in creating change. Offer ends December 31st, 2024. Reach out today and lock in your gold or platinum package before this offer ends. Let's make 2025 and 2026 years to remember. Because no one needs to go it alone when we all come together.
I mentioned the hat. I wanted to wear the hat. So doesn't go with the coat though. The Royals jacket. Yeah, now I can't get it off my head because strings. I want to take a personal minute to wish a really good friend a happy or a healthy recovery, quick recovery. Nick, you need to get better, buddy. We miss your show on this channel. And, you're a good kid. And we wish you the best. Please, everybody, keep him in your thoughts, prayers, whatever you do. So, but Nick, just keep the fight up. That's it, folks. That's the show. We're running a little bit over, but I want to make sure that everybody understands that, look, we're doing this to try to make sure that we get the word out that there are people out there to help you do better business, to live a better life. Let's keep this going. Give us a like, give us a share, and help us out. My name is Zach. I'll see you soon. Goodbye. Maybe goodbye. I don't know.